We have the zechus this week of sharing Torah with you from outside the young Israel of Woodmere in New York, as I got tremendous Chizuk just now from Dr. Ratz, the parent of one of our alumni, as we get ready for an NCSY Shabbaton in Connecticut. In this week's Haftorah, Manoach and his wife are having trouble having children, and a malach comes to Manoach's wife and says, "Don't worry, you're going to have a child, but this child is born, quote-unquote, miraculously, so therefore you have to raise him as being a Nazir." He instructs Manoach's wife what a Nazir means. The child won't be able to drink wine. We won't be able to cut his hair. Manoach's wife goes to tell her husband about what happened. They're a little bit confused. They don't know what to do. They go back to the place where the malach was. They meet the malach another time, and Manoach says to the malach, "A Nazir, how am I supposed to raise a Nazir?" So the malach says to Manoach, "Because asher amarti ela isha tishamer," that don't worry, it's not such a big deal. I told your wife the instructions already. This is what you guys have to do in order to raise him as a Nazir. No drinking wine, no cutting hair, it's all good. Reb Breuer points out that if you read the literal meaning of the pasuk, we learn a very important lesson, and that is, Manoach says, "I don't know how to raise a Nazir." And the malach answers, "Mikol asher amarti ela isha," everything that I told the woman, tishamer. If you do that, if you keep that, so then our children will see what we're doing, and our children will follow along. The best way for us to model, the best way for us to parent, is to model a certain action, and by doing that, that's the best educational tool. It's the best we can hope for to raise our children in a proper way. So on everything that we're doing, of course, we have to be diligent to make sure that we're living the values that we want to impart to our children. But one other idea that specifically for the times that we're living in, I think is important for us, a message that we can send to our children and those who are around us as well. And that is the very famous idea of the juxtaposition between the Sota and the Nazir. The Gemara asks, why are they together? And the Gemara answers, Mishara Sota Bekilkula, somebody who sees a Sota in her disgrace when she's blowing up in reaction to what she's done. So Yazir Atzma Min Hayayin should take on a pledge to not drink wine, because obviously wine is what caused all the trouble. One could ask, if somebody sees the Sota blow up in the Beis HaMikdash, so then that's the person that needs to separate from wine. That person should be so inspired that to live on the highest of levels already without any special promises. But rather, the Torah is telling us is that when we experience certain things in life, we shouldn't just take them as, oh, this is just another thing that happened, and here's another Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm going to go to sleep tonight, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow, it'll be a new day, without any impact happening on my life. But rather, Misharoa Sota Bekilkula, somebody who sees a Sota in her disgrace, there has to be a reason why we're witnessing this. There's something I got to take away from this kind of experience. Yazir Atzma Min Hayayin, not just verbally to pledge I'm going to be a better person, but to concretize that pledge with an action, to do something that's going to change our life. We've, in this last period between Corona and the tragedies in Meron and the rockets and the Karlin with the Paranchas, there's so many things that are happening. There are so many different ways that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to us. By the way, also HaKadosh Baruch Hu talks to us with bracha. So many simchas. So great to see so many alumni and so many young people getting married, having children, and that despite everything that's going on in our wild world, life is going on. So, but through the bracha and through the less than bracha, we should observe that. We should take it in. We should internalize it and figure out what our commitment should be moving forward. How are we going to grow, and how are we going to improve our lives? So we have to model a certain activity, and perhaps one priority, one value that we should have is that not just to take life for granted and not just to take life like a storybook, but everything that happens and everything that we experience, Hashem has us experience that for a reason. And what's He telling us? What does He want? What does He want us to do? What does He want us to discover about ourselves? Where can we grow? We should only have simcha. We should only be able to learn from the simcha, and therefore we and our children and those around us, our communities, will be able to have the best lives possible. Have a great Shabbos.